G'day again, good people. Well, as you know, we were heading for Karratha, and on the way up we cracked 100,000 Ks, which we've done since we bought this car and the van, and we've been travelling and living in the van for the last 3 years, just over. So that was great. And then we came up to Karratha, and we were looking after a house here. We set up when we actually slept in the van. We could have slept in the house, but we slept in the van. We had our own bathroom and laundry and kitchen area and all that sort of thing, so that was good. And we looked after 3 of these Jack Russells of varying ages, and it was a really nice place. We had a great swimming pool here, and if you weren't swimming, then you could just laze by it reading a book. And when I did a backwash, one of the dogs got very over enthusiastic, and that happened a couple of times a week, with the little one joining in because he could. So they were great dogs. They were a lot of personality, and the old black and white one there is actually about 9 years old. We had a nice house there, and we could go in and use the lounge room and all that sort of thing, and a beautiful garden. And somebody told me that the garden was the best in Karratha, and I have no doubt that that's probably true, because it was really nice, and we enjoyed looking after that as well. And there was a brewery there, and surprise, surprise, we did actually go there once or twice, and they make a great steak sandwich, I'll tell you. And there was the Stairway to the Moon, which we've seen in Broome before, and this one wasn't quite as spectacular as that, but it was worth the drive out to the Burrup to go and visit that. So Karratha is a really nice town. It's about 17 or 18,000 people. It's a young town because it's a mining sort of place. There's a lot of FIFO workers in town, but a lot of young families live here, and it's got everything you need. Might not have everything you want perhaps, but it's got some great restaurants, and the shopping's good, and clothing stores, etc., etc. So it does have everything you need, and has some stunning vegetation as well. So we really enjoyed Karratha, and we'd come back here in a hurry. And we took one of the Indigenous tours out at the Burrup, but with a very famous Burrup rock art on these rocks. And I think it was well worth it. We did go out there earlier and have a look on our own, and it was really well worth going with one of the Aboriginal rangers to have a look. Costs a few bucks, but you really learn a lot, and you see a lot that isn't marked, and you wouldn't see necessarily if you were out there wandering around. In fact, we saw a lot more with the ranger than we did when we were out there on our own. So that was really worth it. If you're in the neck of the woods and you're thinking about going out to the Burrup to look at the rock art, then it is really worth doing one of the tours. There's a couple of them. You just go into the information centre and book in there, which is just outside of town. And it's really interesting, a lot of the history of the place and how the people lived. You get a lot of information, and it's really worth spending the time and the money to talk with one of these rangers. It was really good.
lathe.
And I managed to find a lathe to do a little bit of wood turning. This is a little bit of acacia, and I finished a project for a friend of ours in Wandering, and if Marina thinks I'm going to mention what it is, I'll show a picture of it here. Got another thing coming, girl. And this is a piece of hewn pine with the lid made out of Tassie oak, and then the little button on the top is snakewood from up here. So that was really good fun to get into a shed and do that. And that was our time in Karratha. We're heading back into the wilderness again, so we probably won't be recording too much or showing too much for the next couple of months, but we will certainly bring you up to date when we're back in